Welcome back to Black Girl Couch Reviews. I'm your host, Christina. We are back for another recap and review, this one of The Expanse, Season 3, Episode 6, Immolation? I'm pretty sure it's Immolation. It was directed by Jeff Woolnough and written by Alan DeFore. Jeff Woolnough did the episode prior, right? Triple Point. So I like when they give the same director 2 episodes back to back. It's a consistency thing. I wish more TV shows would do that instead of every other episode with some of these more consistent writers and directors, to just give them certain points in the story that they can write. Anyway, like I said, it was written by Alan DeFore. He did Grimm and Money Monster. Haven't seen either. It had a rating of 0.609. I'm pretty sure this was around the time that it was announced that the show was being canceled, because I kind of sneak peeked at the rest of the ratings and they all seem to be around the 0.6 mark for the rest of the season, and it seems that's when more viewership wanted to focus on getting Sci-Fi to not cancel the show. And I do believe that this effort and the show of how much support the show was getting, it was what prompted Prime to go ahead and pick it up, as well as kind of a really big endorsement from I'm gonna screw up his name so bad, the dude that writes Game of Thrones, George Martin. I'm pretty sure that's his name. I gave this episode an 8.7. I didn't like it as much as last week's episode, but the prior episode. It just was a lot more intense. There wasn't as much tension for me as it was as the previous one. And there wasn't enough character development for me. It was kind of the wrapping up of this entire first arc of the story. But at the end, it definitely got me hyped for what we're going to see in the second half of the season, which is what fans like me have been waiting for, is what is going on with the proto-molecule and what's happening on Venus. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. We start on Earth. They have finally caught, what did they say? They were 36 minutes from real time. So I knew there was a delay in how Earth communicates with what's going on in space. And I think they did quantify it, that it's like somewhere around 38 minutes or something like that. But they finally caught wind of what's happening on the Agatha King. They are trying to reach Wynn. Erringwright is like, have we tried to reach the Agatha King? A guy's like, no one's responding. And Gillis is losing his shit, because just as they are learning that there's been a mutiny and what the hell is this about, they find out that the Agatha King has shot the Jimenez. And Gillis is like, what the hell is going on? And then they find out that not only is Wynn still not responding to being held, that their ships are now starting to fire on each other. And that's when he just loses all self-control and say, what the fuck is going on out there? I love all the F-bombs that this show does. It's awesome. It's amazing. I'm so glad it's on Prime, because I get to enjoy all of that. It's pretty awesome. Erringwright, for once, has nothing to say. He looked, his gulp was just basically like, oh shit. Like, something went down and it is not good for me. We go to Io, where they are tracking the pods being left. Holden asks Alex to shoot them out of the sky, which he does. However, 24 pods have gotten through despite UNN and MCRN all firing on them, because they're like, what the hell is that? I didn't launch that. You didn't launch that. What the hell is that? So everyone tried to take them down. They don't know exactly how many had actually gotten away, because Naomi reports that they were that they have some type of stealth tech, so they don't know their destination, but Christian does, because she's like, this is Erringwright's war. Where else would they go but Mars? Alex is obviously in a state of panic and says the obvious, like, this is gonna go down. If one of those things go down on Mars, they'll destroy the whole planet. They'll turn into arrows. And I'm like, yeah, we know. Holden is determined that they are going to find a way to abort them. They all get inside and get into the elevator. Mal is watching this with Strickland on the screens, and they think that it's MCRN coming to take them out after they've done what they've supposed to have done. Like, oh, I just happened to give Wynn these launch codes, and now the pods are gone. Now we're dispensable for the most part, and we're just gonna give up. But Strickland, the snake that he is like, nah, son, we got options. We're gonna take these kids. We're going to say that we have them on board so that we don't get shot out the sky. And I even have a better way to buy us time, because I'm gonna unleash Katoa. Didn't realize that at first, but it seems like Mao is just like Gillis. They can be easily convinced into anything, because he's like, yeah, there's just no reason why we should fight. No, we should just run. We can get to the shock helicopter. We can get away. Okay, tell everybody else to fight for their lives, though, even though the one man points out they're gonna be slaughtered. He's like, well, is it better for them to get captured? Shit. And Strickland all about that work, though. He cracks me up because he has in a sense become the proto-molecule. It is all about the work for him and figuring out. I don't think he gives a fuck about Venus. He gives a fuck about the most basic of survival. He's hilarious to me how bad they made this guy, but it's so bad it's almost now over the top. I don't want to hear anything else from him about with these kids and Io. I was so glad this whole storyline was over, to be honest. Strickland orders the children to be round up. He sends the bodyguard off with Mao, and the shot of the proto-molecule on Venus being shown through Katoa's eyes was very beautifully done. And then he says, such a waste. I'm like, damn, this dude has no soul whatsoever. Gunny is walking down the hallway like she's literally unstoppable. I love the way she is so confident in her swag. She's like, I am a beast, and I'm in the beast of all suits. She is getting heat signatures on the lower levels, about 6 down. They all get onto an elevator, and Amos decides to just randomly ask if she gets cramped in her suit, and she says, well, you get used to it. And Prax comes in with like a plant, because that's his thing, even though he quickly became my least liked character out of this entire series. I'm sure some people liked him, but his character went down very quickly. But then Holden chimes in with, I once grew a watermelon in a box for a science project. It came out like a square, but it still tasted the same. And Naomi asks, because they're watching from the Rossi, Alex, and Christian, that is. And she's like, are they hypoxic? And Christian remarks that no, they're whistling in the dark. This is just a way for them to, loosen up a little bit, to not think about being scared. Immediately after they get off the elevator, though, they get shot at. Amos throws Prax down like, you gotta take cover first, then you shoot, you trigger happy motherfucker. Jesus. Gunny is standing there counting all casually. It's like, I got 4, and then immediately takes them out. And Holden points out that they don't look like soldiers, and Prax remarks, they shot at us, they made their choice.
Why you being a dickhead for? Stop being a dickhead.
I mean, I get that he going through stuff and things. I do. But you still so fucking annoying. Christian is looking all types of stressed out at this whole entire situation. She wants to see what is happening in orbit. That's when they pull up the Agatha King. Alex is able to put a scope on her, and they see that she is covered in freaking protomolecule. Naomi was like, they must have got hit, and that shit is spreading fast. Out of the blue, we get onto the Agatha King that I honestly thought we were pretty much done with this storyline. I honestly thought that maybe I was just seriously naive. I thought that Souther was still going to be holding on some type of way and was able to make one last no, that was his last stand. Damn, mid-sentence. It be like that. That's real. But anyway, Courtier is still alive. He wakes up all types of screwed up. Mid gravity. Zero G anyway. And this girl comes in fighting this protomolecule dude. It's very silent at first, and then when she opens the door, it gets very loud. And they are going at it. He is able to help her out, and she's able to get a gun and shoot him. And she's like, you saw he attacked me, right? I don't know what the fuck is going on. But she peeps some restraint. She's like, why are you tied up? And he's just looking dead at her leg. And I didn't even know what he was looking at. And she got protomolecule on her. And I'm like, oh, well, you're fucked. Ain't nothing to do but for you. And she's like, what does this mean? What's wrong with me? And he's like, yeah, remember arrows? This is that shit. And I don't know why she needed to scream when she shot him loose. I get it, like you're angry, but you know, at first you think that she's gonna shoot him, whatever. Courtier's like, come on, we gotta stop the ship from spreading to the other ships. You're a soldier. That has to mean something or you wouldn't even be here. The girl, Larson, she's like, I don't even know what the fuck we're fighting for. She gives him the gun, like, do what you gotta do, bro. I'm just gonna sit here and die in peace. Please and thank you. He decides to put on a vac suit. He goes in the hallway. I like the shot of all the dead people just floating around. We go back to Io. Bobby tracks the kids and a hybrid, and she is giddy up because this is what she's been waiting for. She's been priming for it. She's been working out for. And she's like, nah, y'all go after the kids. I'm going to lead it away. Amos looks completely turned on / admiring the fact that she's just so gun-ho about it. Christian tells her not to do it, and she says, ma'am, for the first time in your life, shut the fuck up. It's like, I gotta do what I gotta do. I know this ain't gonna bring back my Marines, but it will make me feel better. And apparently it does, even though this was, in my opinion, a absolutely pointless fight, because Katoa gets shot. He acted like he didn't even know what was going on. He was like, I just got loose. I'm just trying to find something to eat, something to drink. Bitch shot me, and I guess I'll follow her. That's literally how the hybrid was reacting. Back on Earth, they've had no word from the Agatha King. They note that there was a launch from Io. Gillis is in his quarters, shitting his pants. As my man Erringwright points out later. And Erringwright's trying to figure out what's going on. He's like, okay, do we know where the pods are heading? And they're like, no, it's kind of some stealth tech. And I wondered if this was part of Erringwright's plan. I think this was, because he didn't seem to deny it later on. We go back to, because right after this scene, damn, where are my notes? I'm all messed up. That's when we go to Anna. Yep, we go to Anna. Oh yeah, because the sunlight in that scene was so freaking bright. And I was like, you never realize how dark it is in the show until you see a scene very well lit. And this scene was a nice balance to what was happening in Earth, or not in Earth, in space. Anna is watching the crowd. She decides to go ahead and approach Gillis. His ass is all pompous and has the audacity to think she coming to apologize. After he's like, I thought you were left. I'm not trying to hear your shit. And we finally get what the heart of the beef is between them. She remarks that martyrs need to solidify a movement, and he says those are your words. So that's what he used to justify them walking arm in arm into a place where he knew that there were orders that they were to be fired upon. Several people died, and she agrees that it was her shame because she put that idea in his brain, basically, that we thought we were fighting this cause, and I thought that's what the cause needed, and I was wrong, and I have to bear the brunt of that. But this time you're going to do the right thing. And she shows him her ace card. But I'm like, girl, you acting like this is not about vengeance, and you know it is. Because I get that she's a pastor and she's supposed to be above that all, but I can see some human traits in you, Anna. On Io, they find the computer and locate May. Holden notes that she can't be far. Bobby is still running from Katoa. She keeps stopping, shooting at him. I do like that her suit has rockets in it. That's pretty awesome. They locate the kids with Strickland. Amos and Prax go to get them. Amos is like, you fucking coming, Holden? He's like, hold on, dude. I'm trying to figure this shit out about the pods, because Alex is freaking out about that, finding out if they've got a way to abort the pods, because his son is on Mars. So of course he's going to be very concerned about what goes down. And Holden finds out that the controls have been passed to the Agatha King. And he says, well, is there anything that we can do? He said, there's someone here that should know. Let me go ask. And I was like, I like this badass Holden. He's going to go chase Mal down. Alex decides to take the Razorback to the Agatha King to stop the pods. Naomi's like, you can't do it by yourself, dumbass. And tells Christian to watch her people. They decide to go up to the Agatha King, of course. And Jesus Christ, Bobby and Gatoa are still beefing. They're chasing through. I wasn't as impressed with this construction scene. I thought it was a little wonky. The thrusters, the battery life starts dying. It goes to low. Katoa finally gets the drop on her though, and they both fall 40 feet to the ground and are knocked the fuck out. I did like the shot of the black clouds behind them. However, I can sort of tell that they were not corresponding shots. I'll let it slide, but it definitely, out of everything I've seen on the Expanse, it was one of the weaker elements. Back on Earth, Erringwright comes in as he's being summoned by Gillis. Gillis don't play no games. He starts to play the tape. And he's like, where you get that from? Anna on the couch in the corner, because she didn't want to be spotted when he came in, acting like she ain't enjoying this coup de grace. And says, does it matter? Calling it an act of God. And Erringwright doesn't even deny it. When Gillis asks him, you ain't got shit to say for yourself, he's like, I meant every damn word. And then just proceeds to read Erringwright for film. This is the most gangsta ass speech I've ever heard. Someone just ripped him to shreds. And he starts it off with, was he always like that? She's like, well, like what? He's like spineless, weak, dignified face with nothing behind it. He don't give a fuck about me and treason. He's just mimicking or parroting you because you're the last person that talked to him. If he talked to a fucking janitor, he'd be talking passionately, disclaiming about a fucking mop. It's exhausting. I've stopped him from committing political suicide, and when he needs to step up, he is shitting himself, wondering what the history books are going to say about him if it's not going to be flattering enough. And Anna, she knows she wanted to say, damn, I cannot disagree. She said he's changing for the better. He's making a turn or something like that. And Gillis begs to be addressed. Like, if you've got anything to say to me, you know, because I'm standing right here and I'm a dope, I suggest you say it right now. And he walked right up on him and says, I fought to save Earth. You fought to save yourself. This planet deserves better than you. And I'm like, drop the mic, dude. Walk the hell up and drop that mic. They come in and arrest him, but it's just like you almost wanted to just play him some Tupac or Biggie on the way out. Anna is proud until this snake-ass dude immediately talk about my legacy was going to be a war and millions of people dead, but guess what? That's on Erringwright now. Dun, dun, dun. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you saved, Anna. You should not be proud in this moment. There's nothing to be proud of. Strickland is in the bay with the children and the awful nurse. They see Amos and Prax almost upon them. He's like, freaking leave them kids. And she thinks that they are trading the children for their freedom. He straight up kills her. And it's like, no, it was this bitch. He puts it all on her. And he's like, Prax, that you, bro? I ain't caught out here like this. I was just trying to help them. He finally reunites with May. But I have no heart because I felt nothing. On the Razorback, Naomi remarks that the protomolecule is infecting the wiring, which is odd because they thought that it only would bond with biologicals. However, this shows that it has the potential to control ships, which is something I hope is explored later on down the line. And she says, well, we ain't going through the SCIS or SC something, the bridge, because that shit is flooded with protomolecule. Let's find a different way to go in. They go into some utility department, I believe. Holden catches up with Mao, and this whole new Holden, I just love him. He's like, don't move. The bodyguard moves, and he kills him without even flinching. And maybe that adult pep talk that Christian gave him worked, because he's got his big boy pants on right now. He ain't talking about, oh my god, I killed someone. He's like, bitch, move, you next. Mao is like, Holden, should have known it was you. I don't know why. Guess he just got that rep now. And he says he's unarmed. Mao is like, everything we did, it was to stop what was happening on Venus. And Holden asks, oh, okay, is that right? Well, can you stop what's happening on Venus? Was that successful? He's like, no. Can you stop them pods out there? No, then shut the fuck up. And I was like, Jim, you can get these draws. You can have them now. Strickland tries to weasel his way out of getting killed by Prax. Prax totally wants to kill him, but Amos eventually steps in and says, you're not that guy, I'm that guy, and he is the one that kills Strickland. That story's done, and I could care less. Alex and Naomi on the Agatha King, they locate the bridge. They need to find the weapon station, and Wynn is still a fucking live, and I don't understand. But he ain't giving up that control. He's like, y'all, this is pointless. You're all gonna die down here. Bobby is still more mad at Katoa than Katoa was ever mad at her. This whole plot just felt empty. I understand where we were coming from, but it feels like a really long time ago that this happened with Bobby. So to try to, I don't know, I just felt like there was some evolution to her character that did not involve needing a resolution with this, but that's just my opinion. Katoa looks distracted by something. I don't know what that was. And she pretty much, kills him very unmercifully as well in the head. Like, 20 or something rounds right in the skull. And, we know him, and I get it too, because she sees him as this monster. And I guess that's the whole point, right? She sees him as this inhuman beast that tore apart her team and is nothing but, like I said, a monster. But we know him as Katoa. We know this is a child that has been matured and turned into something it never wanted to be. And it doesn't even seem to have any type of consciousness. And so it was kind of hard for me I think, seeing someone I root for like Bobby going after essentially a kid that did nothing wrong. So maybe that's where I just did not connect with the story, because, and maybe that's where I'm supposed to feel that yes, Bobby thought she was doing the right thing, but that could have been May, right? But we go back to the Agatha King. Naomi is like, we can't totally change all of the courses of the pod. Wynn is pretty much letting loose his Martian racism on Alex. Alex wants to shoot him. Naomi's like, don't pay attention to this idiot. He is pinned to his chair and bound to die. Kotar pops up from nowhere. Kotar, I never got his name right. He is infected as fuck. But he is sending out a message to say, stay away from Agatha King. Of course, this is a nice goodbye between, well, not really, but goodbye between them. But because he's locked everyone out. No one can speak to him, even though Christian is asking Naomi to speak to him. But he's going to set off a nuclear explosion to get rid of the ship because it's dangerous and he doesn't want to spread it like arrows. And I like his little moment where he's talking to Christian, but no one would know. You know, he's like, well, we're even now. And I always thought I would come up with something, you know, quippy, heroic, but I can't think of a fucking thing. Oh, well. And he dies. Wynn laughs when the alarms goes off, like, ha ha, hoo hoo. Bet you get the money too. I don't know why I started singing Janet Jackson. But he's like, ha ha, y'all can't stop all the pods. I win. And they're like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Naomi's like, we got 10 minutes. That's it. And she is able to get the coordinates of the pods. Is that what it is? And she tells Wynn, I should have let him kill you. And I was like, that was unnecessary. Naomi knows that they cannot get all of them once they get away from the Agatha King. And she contacts Jim and says, look, I got a plan. We cannot knock all of the missiles. We cannot knock all of the pods down, even though we have their coordinates. However, I know someone who will, because if any of these pods reach Mars, they're going to blame Earth, because essentially Erringwright was behind it, and the war will continue to drag on. However, she states that if they could contact Fred Johnson, he has the missiles he stole from Earth. This is a good way that we can get rid of all of them and guarantee there is no continuation of war, and this will be the way for them to peace, because this will be like this never happened. And she does state that they all should agree on this. Alex, of course, agrees. Jim looks at Amos. He's like, it's worth a shot. Jim agrees, and it's handled like adults. And Naomi reaches out to Fred, who's in a bar watching things go down. Now, the last time we saw Fred Johnson, you know, he kind of got bitch slapped by, what was his face? Can't remember his name right now. But he definitely had his ass handed to him. So, of course, this SOS from Naomi has to be a lifeline for him. Even though he did have the proto-molecule. Because, well, yeah, he did have that. But he didn't have the scientist. But she tells him, hey, Fred, I got a way to strengthen the belt's position in the system, as well as do some good. And then we get this nice montage. And I like the montage because it was much more well done than having to see each thing play out scene by scene. We see Alex taking care of Bobby, putting her in sick bay. She is at peace with the death of her team finally. We see a beautiful shot of the missiles being launched from Tycho Station. I forgot how beautiful Tycho Station was. We see Holden bring Jules Pierre Mao onto the Rossi and land him at Christian's feet. We also see May being tucked in bed by her daddy. He gives her her book bag and a teddy bear toy, and he's all, I love my daughter. And then we see Naomi and Jim in bed, naked as the day they were born, clearly after making some sweet, sweet makeup, sex, and love. I love how the music crescended and dropped to add a nice touch to the reunion between them. And he says, you're not staying, are you? And I was like, what do you mean she's not staying? She says it's time. And I'm like, what? I just got my reunion and you're about to separate? I'm not okay with this. That's interesting. We see that the missiles strike the pods, they explode, they took care of all of them, and we see a structure rising from Venus, all blue. I don't know what the heck it is. It's on the news because news has been tracking this thing since the beginning. And Amos is in the kitchen with the 3 kids who don't got parents, and he's pouring milk, and he's like, what the fuck is that? And Amos has had the best lines of the season thus far. They've definitely improved his character by having him be the comedic relief. And I'm not sure he was like that, and I don't recall him being like that in the previous seasons. So that is Immolation. It was pretty straightforward. Recap and review, everything kind of just tied itself up in a neat little bow. We said goodbye to some characters. I'm sure we're probably not seeing Prax anymore this season. I would think he's got what he wants. No reason for him to still be on the ship. Christian's clearly going to go back to Earth. Where's Bobby going to go? Is she going to stay on the ship or is she going to go back to Mars? Because now she's pretty much going to be acquitted. What are we going to do next? That's the most interesting story for me, because now it's not about the stupid war. Now it's about humanity and what that means and what this new technology means for humanity. So I wonder if I didn't see Holden get Christian a sample of the proto-molecule, but no, he did. Yes, he did, because he got the cases that Mal had, and that was his work. So he did get Earth a sample of the proto-molecule, so everyone has it now. So that will be interesting to see where that all ends up. If you want to leave feedback for this episode of The Expanse or future episodes of The Expanse, you can send that at blackgirlcouch@gmail.com. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and all that good jazz. You can find me on my social medias, Tumblr, solely Androgynous Miracle, on Twitter, Christina J16831. Until next time, guys,